Hello, everyone. Welcome into Post-Show Headlines. I'm Andrew Salciunas with the great John Kincade. The great John Kincade.
Wow.
I have to make sure I'm on. Okay. Yeah.
That usually comes with age. Well, the shoe fits.
Oh, the shoe fits. You are
What can
older
you
than
say?
me. Post-Show Headlines, 5 topics, 2 minutes apiece. Then we get the hell out of here. Like, subscribe. We appreciate all of you for being a part of this.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for growing it. Thanks
Yes.
for getting more people involved.
Because here's the deal. The bosses are noticing the traction too, so
We like it. Keep it
up.
going.
You're helping us out. We
Cooper
really
likes to eat.
Yes, my son does like to
Yes.
eat when it's mac and cheese.
There it is.
All right, so number one, today's big topic today was the Castellanos benching. And Rob Thomson decided to bench Nick Castellanos because according to them, he went over the line for the decision to pull him Monday night for Johan Rojas' defensive replacement.
Sure.
Something that we didn't get into on the air, and that's kind of the point of post-show headlines, things that we didn't get into on the air.
Okay.
Is it good that it was Castellanos?
Interesting. Expound a little bit. I don't know where you're going with this.
He seems to be the most, like people kind of sometimes get upset that he seems to go through the motions, cool, calm, collected. I like that about him.
Well, go through the motions. I don't think of him that way.
No, go through the motions like
Oh, you mean the coolest guy?
he just goes out there,
Yeah,
plays ball,
Okay.
you know. Like Ranger Suarez, remember when he got pulled after 3 innings in the playoff game? He was upset.
He was visibly
But
affected, but he's
then the
happy-go-lucky.
next outing, he went right back out there and hurled,
Sure.
right? Whereas maybe some starters would keep that in the back of their mind the next outing and struggle because of it. Nick Castellanos gets benched. If it's more of a fiery person or a hothead or like a Tommy Pham,
Oh, geez.
how does that progress?
You know, you should have brought this up on
I
the
should
air,
have.
because this is actually really, really good stuff.
You were
said.
wondering what took me so long to write down a topic. I
No,
was trying to
this
think
is
about
really,
this
I
one.
think this is a really good thought, and I'm going to tell you why it's a good thought, because I never thought of it.
How about that?
I never thought of that, is that he probably is the perfect guy. But it's sort of what pisses me off about it all. Because Nick Castellanos is the guy that when this team, and something that happened in private that only the team knew about, got disciplined. All the stuff that's in public, Nick Castellanos has arguably, if not the best hustle on the team. Every at bat, busting his backside down the line. And other guys lollygag.
But maybe because this was disrespectful toward Topper. Again,
No, I get it.
We don't know
but
what
I
was
get
said.
it. But the thing is, though, is so maybe that is a good point. Maybe it is a good point that is the perfect guy to do it.
Maybe he pulls him aside. How many times have you heard the story of the guy pulls the player aside and says, "Hey, I'm going to have to talk about you in the media a little bit. Here's what I'm going to say. Just be prepared for it." Maybe he pulled Nick aside and goes, "Look, what you did was out of line. I need to make an example of you.
Yeah, but I guarantee
you're the guy that can handle this the best."
I don't buy it. I don't buy that.
Because Castellanos wanted the streak.
And the streak. But here's another thing. I will tell you this. There are players in that clubhouse that I guarantee you are already on both sides of the argument, much like you and I were this morning. I guarantee.
Oh, I'm sure.
There are guys in that clubhouse that are saying, yo, so all of a sudden he's taking a big stand. Billy Big Balls is now being the disciplinarian. And there's other guys that are going, damn right he should. Shut your mouth, Nick.
Well, they also would have heard what he said, so maybe they felt a certain type of way.
And by the way, that can sometimes cause problems. So watch it closely.
We'll see if they bounce back.
Watch it closely.
You have a stats that lie question.
Yeah, I mean,
what made you think of this?
When you hear, because we were in the discussion during the show today, and Connor was giving us stats about the Phillies are the 6th best offense in
terms of scoring,
and I'm just
which is accurate. Like they do have the 6th most runs in Major League Baseball.
And I'm puking because they may have the 6th most runs in baseball.
Because you could win 15-0 one game and then lose 1-0.
But they are not the 6th best offense in baseball.
Yeah,
they're not. They're not balanced. They're not fundamentally sound offensively. They're not. They're just not that best offense. So to me, I ask you, when you hear certain stats, are there certain stats you think lie to you? When you hear a certain statistic out there, when you hear it, that in your mind you sort of disregard it because you don't like that statistic or you don't think that that statistic matters that much? Like to me, saves in baseball.
Right.
We've talked about this before. A save number in baseball matters very little to me.
Right.
The fact that because a guy could have a 4 ERA and could have 30 saves. He could go out there and give up 2 runs every time he's in there, get a save, and he gets credit for the saves. So his save numbers are good, but his ERA sucks. So I always look at saves as something I don't care about. A pitcher's 1-loss record.
I was just about to say that doesn't matter. And you know what? Major League Baseball has done a good job of moving away from that. Like,
I don't care about.
We've seen Jacob deGrom and Felix Hernandez win with below 500 records. They're
Paul Skeens,
AL Cy Young, NL Cy Young.
Paul Skeens should win this year.
Right, exactly.
With not caring about a 1-loss record. Any others? I didn't mean to take that one.
No, it's okay. Like, there's a couple. Like, we had the OPS conversation today. That's like the stat that they care about.
And
in
you know,
Major
there's
League
a lot
Baseball.
of people who don't even know what that is.
It's a combination of slugging and on-base percentage. So 2 guys could have the same OPS. One guy could have a lower on-base percentage but have 30 home runs, whereas the other guy may have 2 home runs but he walks more.
Correct.
Who's the more feared hitter?
Right.
The guy that has the more home runs. Like, right. I would rather have the guy that hits home runs. Right. So, like, yeah, I understand that getting on base matters. It still matters in Major League Baseball. But I'm sorry, Brandon Marsh has an above-average OPS. Do I believe that Brandon Marsh is an above-average hitter in Major League Baseball?
No, you don't.
Hell no.
No.
Max Kepler is an above-league average OPS right now because of his recent hot streak. Do I believe he's an above-average hitter? Absolutely not.
Not with your eyes, you don't.
Right. So there's certain things. But then you can also twist numbers. Like, I know a couple of years ago, I was talking to somebody. I was doing the Fanatic Baseball show.
Okay.
And somebody had one of the higher fly ball rates among pitchers. I forget who it was.
Okay.
And somebody was trying to tell me because that number was really high toward the top of Major League Baseball, that he's a dangerous pitcher. Because if guys start getting around on him, they're going to start hitting home runs. But he was giving up soft contact. So why is it that you'd rather have more ground balls? I get it. Ground ball stays in the yard. But if the ball's coming off the bat
hot,
115 miles per hour,
it's hot.
Versus the guy that's just making huge fly balls that aren't going out. What does it matter? To me, it's, are you keeping the ball in the yard? Are you getting outs? Is your ERA low? Right. That's all that should really matter. Football, I'll give you one.
Okay.
People that average X amount of yards per ground, let's say running backs. What's the yards per carry?
That's 2.
If you average 100 yards a game, that's great. But if you're getting 30 carries, I kind of want you to average 4 or 5 yards per carry, not 3.
Does completion percentage matter much to you?
Depends on who the quarterback is, I guess. Yes, I want it to be higher because that means they're completing passes. But if it's all dink and dunk,
right,
you're taking what the defense is giving you, which I'll celebrate. But if there's a guy like Jalen Hurts this past year, there were times where he gave up on the big play downfield, and went for the dink and dunk. Now they won a Super Bowl, so good for them. Right?
I try to disregard completion percentage if my offense is still scoring a bunch of points.
Right, exactly.
Because I want Jalen Hurts throwing the ball.
But if my completion percentage is 70%, but I'm only averaging 17 points a game, that means you're not taking the shots downfield.
Exactly.
All right, what's your Sixers question that you have?
Okay, so the Sixers got an offer while we were on the air.
What's that?
To move up to the number 2 pick in the draft. Did you know that?
No, is that?
Yes, they got an offer. They did. But you're going to have to move on from Joel Embiid.
No.
What?
For Dylan Harper?
Yeah.
Dylan Harper's never going to be Joel Embiid.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid's, you're off the books. Someone's taking the contract off.
Yeah, the Spurs.
4 huge years of Joel Embiid in the contract. They're going to put him with Wemby, and they're working the money. And so you're going to be able to move up to number 2. They work the deal. So Joel Embiid's contract is off the books. Sixers get number 2.
Still Paul George's contract.
Sixers get number 2. Yes, and but there's a chance that then Phoenix is interested in the deal where you could move.
Wait, so you're all sudden.
So listen. So then you can.
Daryl Morey's having the greatest offseason in the history of the NBA.
Yeah. So, but the key linchpin, with our shout out to our boy Jamie, is to then you get to move. You're moving then you move Paul George to Phoenix, and you get out 1 year earlier because you're getting taken back Bradley Beal.
Oh, okay. Well, then now I got Dylan Harper, Bradley Beal, Quentin Grimes, Tyrese Maxey.
But you're out 1 year earlier.
Jared McCain. I got 5 guards.
But you're out 1 year earlier on the money of Paul George.
He's the smallest team in the NBA.
And you're done with Joel Embiid's before his contract. You get 1 more year of this money, and then you're out of the next 3 years of the big money.
Nah, not doing it.
Oh my gosh! I wanted to see what level of delusion we want. You would not help the franchise if the call comes in on draft.
Joel Embiid might still help the franchise if he stays healthy, John.
Oh, if he stays
healthy, he helps the franchise.
Please, in the comments, just comment. Please, folks.
Joel Embiid's a good basketball player when healthy.
When healthy.
You and I both had a same question.
Yes.
In response to Nick Castellanos. You told me that you had a life question off of Castellanos. I said, tell me what it is, because I bet you have the same one.
It's the same one.
Go for it.
And it was, have you ever stepped over the line in your professional career with a boss?
Oh, so you're saying when I
no, you can use it. Oh no, I can use it anytime. I shouldn't have said
because when I worked in the fast food industry, yes, okay. I cursed out my boss over the phone and got fired.
Which, by the way, how your dad didn't kick your ass, I don't know.
Well, I was in college at that time.
Okay, were you still on any one of the part of the family payroll?
Yeah, and health insurance.
Well, I would have
he didn't. I don't even think he knew.
He didn't even know. Oh,
no.
Okay.
I was at a Temple football game.
Okay.
I've told the story on the air.
You were supposed to go to work.
No.
At Chick-fil-A?
So I told them. I was straight up, and I said, for my first weekend in college, I'm not going to work. Please do not put me on the schedule.
Okay.
They called me. Hey, can you work this weekend? I said, no. It's a part-time.
Right. Part-time job, and you're not working the first weekend.
Yeah. I said, no, I'm not available for this weekend. It's my first weekend at college. I want to get settled. I want to go to whoever Temple played week 1 of the 2012 season.
Absolutely.
Right. They put me on the damn schedule. I called them. I am not coming in.
Okay.
We'll see you Saturday. I said, I'm not coming in. So Saturday, the phone rings. Andrew, where the hell are you? I told you I wasn't coming in. And they were like, don't you raise your voice? And I basically said, I don't give a bleep about this job. I had been at the tailgates already and in the game. I was in the stadium when the phone call happened.
Wow.
So this is hours of tailgating, which is maybe why I lost
So you didn't get a recommendation from that?
No. I lost my cool, but it was a buildup. I told them 4 different times, and then when they called me with a tone of where the hell are you, I was like, I tried telling you.
Was the manager just ignoring you? Was it a lower level manager was ignoring you?
No, it was one of the.
Or was it the big boss?
It was the scheduling manager of that establishment.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I told him I wasn't. And again, I was part time. It's not like it was my full time job.
And you're saying it's my first weekend at college.
I made it very clear. I made it very clear, and then they still put me on the schedule.
Well, then they got everything they deserved. But you still love Chick-fil-A.
Oh my God, yeah,
loves Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely do. What about you? Have you ever stepped over a line?
I have never. I've never stepped over a line. I have had bosses cry uncle and said, okay, time out. Okay, I've heard you've had your say. Now get out. Get out of my office.
Yeah.
You've made your case. Now get out. And you can relate working with me every day. You know that I can put a very forceful case out there when I want to. So it was like, okay, you've had your say. You've made your case like you're at the Supreme Court. Now get out. I have been tossed out of my boss's office after they've heard me out and said, okay, you've had your say, go.
Now leave. Yeah.
But other than that, no, I've never taken that step over the line.
Did a boss ever step a line over to you?
Yes. Have had that happen.
I worked
for Mike Keenan.
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
He was a tyrant, but Mike is a great guy. And I learned so much working for him that I worked for him as a 19-year-old till I was 22. And so I learned from Mike Keenan when I still wasn't even legal drinking age.
Yeah.
He taught me a lot of things about this being savvy and everything like that. But he also was a tyrant to work for. And I learned a lot of things about, look, life's not fair.
Yeah.
Work ethic and everything. And he was also extremely generous. He was also a guy who could peel off a $100 bill when you were on a road trip, give you a $100 bill.
Well, that's nice.
And go have a good time.
Yeah.
You did a good job today.
Yeah.
But he was hard to work for. made every boss the rest of my life, though less intimidating.
Oh yeah,
Because I was like
I'm sure that
I'm
helps.
a teenager, 19, 20 years old, working for a head coach in the NHL. But at that point, then you're like, oh God, nobody intimidates you.
Yeah.
Because you're like, boom.
I had a boss at a pool store that I used to work at.
A pool store?
Yeah, the many jobs that you work, especially when you're starting off in radio and you're trying to make extra cash.
Sure.
My uncle tragically passed away.
Sorry to hear about that.
And it was like after the store closed.
Okay.
Okay. And I did not have the person's personal phone number.
Okay.
And
so this is the day the store closed?
No, like the store was closed for the day. Like
okay,
it's 5 o'clock.
First closed day, 5 o'clock.
You know, I think it was like 6, 7 o'clock when I found out. It was a rough time. I was very close with my uncle, so it hit me pretty hard. And the next morning, I was not thinking about going to my part-time pool store job.
Okay, right.
And when I did not show up and the phone rang, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, blah, blah. And instead of saying like, so sorry for your loss.
Like compassion.
We'll try to figure this out. It was, well, I don't care what happened in your personal life. You didn't come to work today.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I said to this woman, with all due respect, that was probably the worst thing you could have possibly said. And I hung up the phone. And then I went to work the next day.
You did?
Yeah. Well, because she wasn't at that branch all the time.
Oh, okay.
And then when she came in the next time, she tried acting like nothing happened. And I was like, you want to talk about that phone call we had? I was like 19, 20 or 20 years old.
What did she say?
She was like, well, I stand by what I said, blah, blah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Making $8 an hour.
Oh, that's terrible.
You know, ridiculous.
God, that's terrible.
All right, speaking of $8 an hour.
Yes.
Earlier today, we talked about change.
Mm-hmm. I hate change.
So I got 20 cents back from the vending machine.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And one of our YouTube viewers, maybe he's watching post-show headlines, Andrew Ellis, thank you for watching.
What's up, Andrew?
We appreciate you. Said, oh, man, it's called a change container. It's a crazy invention to start piling up the change. I will ask you, around how much money do you think you need to have in change for it to be worth bringing it to the bank or whatever?
Oh man, I don't keep change.
No, I know, but like,
but I mean, like
I'm not going. I'm not going to the kiosk for $5.
I kept a penny jug, one of those Deer Park, like your dad.
Yeah.
So I kept a Deer Park water jug that I used to keep pennies in.
Right.
When I turned it in, I had $93.
Oh, $93.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And at that time, I wasn't making.
Hell yeah, man! $93.
I had $93 in pennies.
Yeah.
And so for me to bring change, to bring it in, anything over $10.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I would wait until I get to like 50.
Oh, I'd wait. Yeah, I'd wait.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
I'm not going like,
where am I at in life, though?
Well, that's a good question. Right.
Today,
you're waiting longer.
I'm waiting because I'm not dying for cash. And I swear to you, every expense that I have is on credit card.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, we put everything on the credit card and get all the credit card points.
All the points, yeah.
And do that.
When my wife and I moved from Manayunk, as Bill Colarulo, host of Unfiltered, walked by.
Yes.
When we moved to Jersey, we had change collected over there. And plus, when you're moving out, you're finding loose change. I had 80 some bucks in change.
So you went to the supermarket?
Yeah, and I did the thing. That's worth it. Like, to me, $20, like, I'd rather just keep on piling up the change.
I think
because that 20 might go out the window in 5 minutes.
It could.
I might get the change and then go right to the grocery store and buy something with the $20. Yeah. I don't want that.
I like that though. I like the idea. Saving's good. Teach kids.
Yes, saving is good.
Teach your son that.
I will do that. All right, how long was this?
Like, subscribe. It was long.
Oh, like 20 minutes.
Subscribe.
Do we get double credit for this?
No, we don't. Like, subscribe. We appreciate you. We'll see you on Thursday.
Goodbye. Hey guys, Andrew Salciunas from Kincade and Salciunas. Thank you for checking out all of our stuff on YouTube. Make sure you click, like, subscribe on everything that you see. And of course, you can see everything from our YouTube feed. Full shows, interviews, When John's Being an Idiot, which is like 15 times a day. So make sure you check out all of our stuff on YouTube. We appreciate it.